I cannot say enough good things about how good Bryan Woo has been since coming off the injured list. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners win this one 3-0. They improved to 36-28 on the year. They extend their AL West lead by a half game over Texas. They have a 5-game lead. And Houston was also off today, so I think they're 7.5 up on Houston. So a very, very productive day for the Seattle Mariners. Before I dive into it, as always, do me a favor, smash that like button. It really does help a lot. It gets the video out to more people. So if you just want to help the channel grow, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new or if you're lurking. 2 free and easy ways to help the channel, subscribing and liking. Shout out to my channel members. I'll give you guys a shout out at the end of the video, and comment your thoughts on the game down below. Series win for the Mariners. You take care of business. You go to Oakland. You get 2 out of 3. And now you got a good taste in your mouth on the plane ride to Kansas City to face a very tough Kansas City Royals team. But it feels a lot better going into Kansas City, getting a series win in Oakland. Yesterday was frustrating. Today does not change the frustrations of yesterday, but it does cure it a little bit, right? Like the best cure for any ailment in sports is a W. If guys are fighting at each other, winning helps. If, the offense is struggling, winning helps. It's just like today. Today was not that much better offensively than yesterday, but it was enough to get a W. So it feels a little better. You can talk about some of the positives a little bit more when you get a win. So winning is truly the cure for everything, really, in sports. And Bryan Woo has just been insane. The lowest ERA, I think, through 6 starts for Mariner, I think Aaron Goldsmith was saying, since Randy Johnson in 95. And I think Woo was actually lower than Johnson. I think Johnson was like 1.23. Woo was 1.07. Also, let me apologize for having this video out so late. Long work day, and I'm a little bit under the weather, so this might not be a super long post-game recap, but thank you guys and gals for being so patient waiting for this. But yeah, Bryan Woo, the Mariners starting staff is so good that each time one of them goes out there, I'm convinced they're the best starter. I watch Luis Castillo and go, yep, that's my ace. I watch George Kirby and go, actually, I think Kirby's my guy. I watch Logan say the same thing. And honestly, Bryce Miller and Bryan Woo have been right there with them this season. I watch them. I watched Bryan Woo today and go, is Bryan Woo the best starter on this team? Just absolutely incredible performance. I mean, Bryan Woo's walked 2 batters all year in 33 innings. If George Kirby is 100th percentile for command control, which I'm sure he is, Bryan Woo's 99.9 percentile with it. I mean, he is just locked in. And Woo is some pitchers are not aesthetically pleasing to watch, even if they're good. They're just some guys that their delivery is weird, whatever it is. Woo is very aesthetically pleasing on the eyes to watch. His delivery is just so smooth. I love that 2-seamer he threw to Toro that just looked like it would almost hit him and then just backed right into the top corner of the plate. Was just the ultimate perfect pitch. The Mariners pitching in general, just a masterclass today. I know Oakland's not great, but they're better than last year. They are pesky. We saw them against George Kirby, on Monday. Tuesday, fouling off a bunch of pitches, working his pitch count up, put a little pressure on him. They were okay against Gilbert last night, and Woo set them down with just 2 base runners on 2 hits. One of them was a Toro double that just stayed fair. The other one was a Soderstrom base hit that just got through. I mean, Woo was almost perfect today. So, and the A's lineup overall, I don't think has been terrible by WRC+. I think they're closer to the middle of the pack than they are the bottom. I could be dead wrong on that. Don't quote me, but I don't think they've been that bad this year. They've been pesky. Not good, but pesky. And I kind of feel like that's the A's in general this season. So great performance by Woo. It wasn't just Woo. The bullpen, without Andres Munoz today, Austin Voth, Mike Baumann. I have been really, really impressed with Mike Baumann. When they traded for him, I was fine with it. I wasn't blown away. I thought Baumann might kind of be, another Cody Bolton kind of guy, like there's a little bit of a project. Listen, if you're going to give the Mariners credit for anything, one thing they've done a good job is developing some of these relievers. And maybe Baumann is like this year's Justin Topa, just a guy that is able to get outs in those high leverage spots. That would be huge. That would be huge. He doesn't have to be Munoz, Brash, or Santos, but if he can be in that next tier, it's another weapon down there that helps. And Ryan Stanek closes the door in the 9th. And again, I've talked about it several times. If you're getting Ryan Stanek, looking like he has the last couple weeks, it's just another weapon to the pen that'll help you survive not having Brash and Santos and Munoz. So it looks like Munoz is fine. He was throwing the ball pregame, so I think you'll see Munoz back in Kansas City, which is great news. But, great job by the bullpen. Austin Voth, I know I mentioned him, but man, he's been dialed in too. And listen, do I still think this team needs to add a reliever? Yes. One, relievers is just something you can never have enough good relievers. But the longer this bullpen can just tread water, and they're not just treading water, but getting the job done, the longer you can wait to make that move and don't have to get desperate. Santos was throwing today in Oakland and was throwing 95. They talked about July. Well, we're not that far away from July here. We're less than a month away from the All-Star break, or about a month away from it, crazy enough. Maybe Santos is a week or two away from a rehab assignment. And, I know we'd all love to, and I'm not counting on anything yet. I'm not counting on anything with Santos yet until he's out on the mound. But man, talk about an acquisition. We talk about this team needing out a reliever. You can get Gregory Santos back. That is huge. But the guys are holding it down. They're absolutely doing what they need to do. And that's, again, where that 5-game lead plays a part for the Mariners. You don't have to get super desperate right now. You shouldn't wait till the last minute, obviously, but you can still kind of bite your time a little bit and wait for the right move or the right deal to become available. But man, this pitching staff today, that was one of those pitching performances that you send the video out to the kids in high school and go, that's how you pitch at the big league level. I am blown away by Bryan Woo. He was one of my guys that I talked about that I really liked coming into this season. I've said I liked Woo more than Miller. I still do. And at this point, it's not even a knock on Miller. Miller's been fantastic. That's how good Bryan Woo has been. 24 strikeouts, 2 walks. I don't think he did throw 85 pitches today. Good to see he went back out there for the 6th. I do wonder if some of that was with Munoz not being available, trying to get another inning out of the starter. But either way, good to see Woo ramp it up close to 90 pitches. Hopefully next start it's around 90 if everything's going smoothly for Woo. But man, he's at a Cy Young level. He is at a Cy Young level. Do I think he's going to get that award? No, I think missing the month and just maybe the innings a little bit will prevent that. But, I remember last month saying, find me a pitcher better than Logan Gilbert. And Logan cooled off a little bit. He's still been great. He just cooled off a little bit. Find me a pitcher right now better than Bryan Woo. Find him. And yes, I'm sure it's not a serious challenge. It's more of a Mariners battle cry. So someone from another fan base is watching this going, this guy's better than Woo. I'm sure there are. I'm just making a point that Bryan Woo has been absolutely dialed in for this Mariners ball club. Absolutely dialed in. And just like I said, the comfort level when Woo's out there, it's like not even a worry, if that makes any sense. I just have no concerns when Bryan Woo is on the mound. Just absolutely fantastic. Again, I just can't say enough good things about Bryan Woo. Well, the pitching was fantastic. Let's talk about the offense. The offense, listen, JP Sears has been pretty solid this year. When you win, it's easier to tip my cap when the team wins, right? Like it's easier to go, hey, this guy pitched pretty well. The A's, truthfully, all 3 guys the A's have in this series, Spence, Estes, and Sears, aren't terrible. Now, I will say in modern baseball today, I just feel like there's a lot less terrible pitchers out there. Like everybody in the bullpen now is throwing 95, 96. You can go back to like the mid 2000s, early 2000s. And man, there were middle relievers coming in that had 30 strikeouts to 30 walks in 40 innings. They were throwing 87, and they were easy guys to hit. Now, that just doesn't exist. And offense in general is down in baseball. So, from that aspect, yes, the Mariners face Estes isn't very good, but he's probably better in his numbers. Sears has been all right. These are games that I would let go if the Mariners offense was overall doing well this year. If the offense was 9th in WRC plus, I'd probably give this game a pass. But, it's just another game where they just don't really, inspire a ton of confidence, but they do enough. They do enough today to get it done. And when your pitching is that dialed in, it's one of the beautiful things about this ball club, right? I had someone message me once, this was like a month or 2 ago, and I get a few messages and 99% of them are positive. But someone told me, like, you hype up the pitching staff too much or something. You're hyping up the team too much. They would be awful if they didn't have a great pitching staff. Sure, but they do. They do have this pitching staff, and it is lights out. So I always think that's funny when people do that with like, well, if it wasn't for this, if the Chiefs didn't have Patrick Mahomes, they wouldn't be. Well, they do have Patrick Mahomes. So it's one of the reasons why they win Super Bowls. The Mariners do have a great pitching staff, and it allows them to have games like this where the offense is meh, but puts enough on the board that you actually end up getting a pretty easy W out of it. So it is one of the beautiful things about this ball club. There's not a lot of teams that can do that. The Mariners are built a little bit differently. I 100% want this offense to be better, and I want them to make additions, and I want this team to get better because I think to win a World Series, you're going to have to be better than what they are right now. However, in the meantime, if they can do enough and the pitching's dominant, which, listen, it's going to have off days, but we know this is good stuff, you are still going to be able to win games because of it. So that's not really a praise of the offense. It's more a praise of the pitching staff, but you guys get what I mean. Let's look at the offensive box score a little bit. Only 4 hits again tonight, 5 walks, and I think they were hit by 2 pitches as well. So a little bit more base runners today than yesterday. JP was 1 for 4 with a walk. On base twice as good. He did have the at-bat with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning where he struck out. That was a little frustrating, but not a terrible day for JP. Anytime someone reaches base twice, that's all right. Dylan Moore 0 for 3. He did have the sac fly, which honestly I thought off the bat might get out for a split second. I had that kind of like, oh, okay. But listen, I'm not going to lie. I think we all kind of half expected the Mariners after JP struck out to leave the bases loaded. You know, that inning again, that's the second time this week I've done that. Kind of a microcosm of this offense, right? Like, yeah, I'll take the 1 run because you do feel like 0 is a very real possibility in those situations. But 1 run is still not, bases loaded, nobody out. You should get minimum 2. I always say you should get a minimum of 2 runs in that situation. That's always my take on it. 1 is like, fine, it's better than 0. But, with this offense, I was kind of like, okay, phew, they got to run. And that really shouldn't be how we look at it. We should be going, hey, get more. And I'm not more as a pun on Dylan Moore, but literally more runs. But I did think that Moore got that off the bat, got the run in, we'll take it. Listen, I know some people are saying that Dylan Moore needs to slide back into that super utility role. Today was against the lefty. That's when he's going to start. Dylan Moore is going to start almost every game against the lefty. He's just in a little bit of a cold stretch right now. I'm not worried about Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore is like most hitters on this team. They're just streaky. Demo's just going through it right now. And with Polanco out, there's not a lot of ways to get Dylan Moore a lot of days off. He's obviously going to play every day against lefties. That's set in stone. Even if Polanco's healthy, you're going to see Dylan Moore playing every day against lefties. And he's going to get some at-bats against righties right now, too. He's going to be a little more trusted than Ryan Bliss. Would I like to see Bliss get more at-bats? Sure. Bliss played today. That's awesome. But Dylan Moore is the veteran of those two. He's going to be trusted a little bit more. So against righties, you're probably going to see Demo 6 out of 10 and Bliss 4 out of 10. It just is what it is until you get Jorge Polanco back in there. I don't think Dylan Moore has dropped off. I think he's just a good hitter that's streaky, like most guys on this team, and he's just going through a little bit of a rough stretch right now. But I think Demo will be fine when the dust settles. Julio 0 for 4 was hoping again, after kind of a big day yesterday with the home run off Mason Miller, that we might see another big day for Julio. Again, Julio kind of doing a lot of this. He's been better recently, but, again, just, we talk about like the sky could be the limit with this team if they can get Julio going. And some of these guys just going with the bat. We're not asking for a ton. I would like to see Julio's, 657 OPS be 735. That's still not great. Like, that's still not amazing, but man, I feel like it would get you a win or two more and an extra win or two. I mean, imagine if this team was just 1 game better, 37-27, 6 games up in the AL West. Feel pretty good, wouldn't it? It still feels good right now, but, just a little bit better from some of these guys, hopefully. Ty France was 0 for 3, did work a walk. Cal Raleigh was 0 for 2, walked and was hit by a pitch and stole a base. How about the big dumper showing off the wheels on the base pass? That was cool to see. Not sure who gave Cal the sign to steal. Not sure if Cal just decided to do it, but I'll take the dumper getting himself a stolen base. That was a fun moment in the game. Mitch Haniger 0 for 4. Mitch Garver. Let's move into Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver had himself a day. 2 for 2, 2 walks, 2 hits, a home run and a single, both hits scoring a run. A tremendous day for Mitch Garver. Much needed. Absolutely. And listen, I will cling to anything that I think could get these guys going. Mitch Haniger, Ty Francis heated up a little bit of a tough series in Oakland, but I'm going to lay off Ty a little bit. He's been swinging the bat better. But Mitch Garver, Mitch Haniger, Polanco when he's back, Julio, anything. Like, please let this be what gets Mitch Garver getting to his career norms. Maybe this was the game. Draws a couple walks, solid base hit there off Sears on a bit of a tricky pitch. I think it was a changeup that was a little outside the zone. Sticks the bat on it, puts it into left field. Cal scores. And then a nice home run off of TJ McFarland in the ninth inning. Like I said, am I claiming Mitch Garver back? No. But my goodness, please be the moment that gets him going. And I'll say the same thing if Mitch Haniger can have like a 3-for-3 tomorrow. Please let that be what gets these guys hot. I want this team to make additions at the deadline. I absolutely think they need to go out and get someone, whether that's Luis Robert. Again, I'm just talking about the players. I'm talking about the cost necessarily. Yeah, we'll get into that. I'll do some videos on more analysis on that later. Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, whatever it is, whatever you think the team needs. I'm just throwing names out there. But the best thing for the Mariners is the current players getting hot. You can't guarantee trades. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what other teams could swoop in and make moves. You don't know injuries that could happen. What you do know is who's on the roster right now. And if these guys can play better ball, it's going to make your trade deadline decisions a lot easier. Victor Robles was 0-for-1. I think he was hit by a pitch as well, dropped a fly ball in left field. Not the most endearing start for Victor Robles with the Mariners. Grounded into a double play to end the game yesterday. Off Mason Miller. I'm not going to rip him too much for that. The drop fly ball was just, I really don't know what to say about that. The route was a little weird. And then had in his glove and dropped it. I mean, that's probably not going to happen again this year. Not much to say on Robles. He's had like 4 at-bats here. Is he better than Clase? I don't know, but I think it's important. Clase should be playing every day. He's still a legitimate prospect. He needs to be in Tacoma getting regular at-bats. So yes, I'd rather have Victor Robles up here. And it's easy to sub out. If he stinks in 10 days, bring up Cade Marlowe, bring up Samad Taylor. It's all kind of interchangeable to me who you go with in that role. Luke Raley pinched hit, struck out twice. Ryan Bliss 1-for-2, got the bunt hit. Rojas pinched hit for him and was 0-for-2. Again, not an offensive juggernaut day. Truthfully, outside of Mitch Garver and the Cal Raleigh stolen base, not much to talk about. But please be what gets Mitch Garver going. And I think you're facing a couple lefties in Kansas City, so you're going to see Garver get some more at-bats. So hopefully he can stay hot. Because that's been the problem, right? We've seen some of these guys have these big games. We're like, okay, this might be it. And then they just drop right off. I just want to see some sustained success for a couple weeks from a couple of these hitters. Have that big 2-week stretch. I'm not asking for August 2023 Julio, but give me, a tier 2 below that. And that's still a tremendous hot streak for a lot of these hitters. So listen, great win. Great win for the Mariners. You are fighting for this division. We are now into the season. We're into the dog days of summer. There's 98 games left. There's a lot of baseball left. But it's also not as much as you think, if that makes any sense whatsoever. We are 64 games into the season. We have a fairly legitimate sample size of things right now. And that sample size tells us the Mariners have a 5-game lead in the AL West. And I absolutely, again, I'll repeat it, think this team, what's the word? Think is kind of the wrong word there. This team should win the AL West. This team absolutely should win it. Yes, I'm in favor of buying. I'm in favor of selling prospects. You have prospects for 2 reasons: to help the Major League roster when they fully develop and are ready to play, and to trade to get bats. This farm system was depleted 2 years ago. They've graduated prospects like Kirby, Gilbert, Julio, Kelenic, and they traded away a lot of the rest of them for Luis Castillo. And this farm system was barren, or was lowly ranked for a couple years. And now it's back up to one of the tops. I'm not saying be stupid. I'm not saying trade Colt Emerson for a half a year of Pete Alonso. I'm probably not doing that. But, and listen, a guy like Luis Robert, there's red flags. He has not played a full season. Last year I think was the closest he's played to a full season. There's legitimate injury concern there. Bo Bichette's been really bad this year. Vlad Guerrero, Savant Page looks really good, but I think he's a free agent after next year. So I'm not saying you don't look at that stuff. But, you've got a chance to win the AL West. And I'll be honest, if you have to trade those prospects, if it gets a World Series win, now nothing can guarantee a World Series win. I said that in a video the other day. You could trade for prime Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. You could add, I'm blank. Of course, I blank right now, and I'm doing this. Yordan Alvarez and prime playoff Justin Verlander to this team, and you're not guaranteed a World Series. But if you put yourself in position to get there, listen, prospects are prospects, but if it gets the Mariners holding that trophy, it's kind of worth it, right? I talk about the Seahawks, like the Percy Harvin trade, probably terrible trade in the grand scheme of things. But you don't see a lot of Seahawks fans really trash Percy Harvin because, and despite only playing 3 games, he was a pivotal part of the team winning a Super Bowl. It's amazing what winning can do. It forgives a lot of mistakes you might make to get there. So again, I'm not saying like, oh, just ship off Cole Emerson for me, stuff like that. Oh, hey, we made a trade. But, if you hold up that trophy at the end of the year, a lot is forgiven about if you sold away a bunch of prospects and stuff like that. So that's all I'm saying. So we'll see what the team does. Me and Mariner Sir are going to do a video at some point. We'll kind of break down specific targets, what they might cost. He'll probably have a little bit more better knowledge than I do exactly on what kind of prospects it will cost to get those type of guys for the Mariners to make this run. Let's keep it going. Kansas City coming up. Royals are a tough team. They're good. I absolutely think the Mariners can win the series. Like I said, you're going to miss Seth Lugo, which helps. You will see Cole Reagans. That will be a tough task for the Mariners. But hey, here's the good news. Mariners get shut down by Joey Estes, right? So what's Cole Reagans going to do? He can't be any better than what Estes did to us. So maybe they have a chance. It kind of works out funny that way. Great series win for the Mariners. Bryan Woo dominant. Like, comment, subscribe. I do want to give my channel members a shout out here. So let me pull that up real quick. And then I will get out of here. All right, shout out to the channel members. First of all, we got Kevin Kirby. Thank you so much, Kevin, for your support. Honda Civic just joined a few days ago. Thank you, my friend. Welcome to the team. George Clement, channel member. Mark Squire, who is the winner of the last contest. I am getting your shirt out to you, my friend. Just give me a couple days, and that will be on its way to you. He won the contest for Luis Castillo strikeout total against the Angels. My man Y2K, DW, Trevor Hiddle. Thank you guys so much for your support. And then the 3 longest tenured members, William Cook, Mr. Moses, and the man, the myth, the legend, Gunny Studios. Mr. Moses, I am working on it for you. I've got a plan. I'm going to do a live stream, and then I'm going to, I think, gift you a membership because I know it's on a different account for you. So if you're watching, I am trying to work on that for you, my friend, because I want you back in the membership stuff. $4.99 a month. Think about becoming a channel member. Twice a month, members only streams. Usually do a fun contest giveaway. We get to hang out, watch a game, just talk a little ball. Have a great night, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another post-game recap. As always, go Mariners. Peace.